Hey there, let's take a minute to talk about the importance of interviewing the agent that you're planning to have list your home for sale. You want to make sure this is a skilled person with lots of experience, not grandma's best friend or your niece that just got her license. We want to make sure this is somebody that absolutely knows the market, knows what they're talking about, and can take care of your most expensive asset. Help the transaction go fluid, make sure they've got great relationships with other realtors. It does make a difference, and we'll go through all of that today. So when interviewing a realtor, it requires a balance of evaluating their sales track record, their sales tactics, their local market experience, and their marketing sophistication. Whether you're out there hiring for a high-end home or your mobile home or a small lot for sale, it's super important to make sure you're hiring the realtor that's right for the product. So our number one thing we want to check out is core performance and experience. And this business, experience matters. I'm not opposed to using a new agent, but they need to have a realtor they're working under that knows absolutely the ins and outs of real estate. So I would check their track record. Zillow can be accurate, but ask them directly, how many homes have you sold? How many homes did you sell last year? And why is this important? So if you ask, how many homes have you sold the last 12 months? And I give you a large number, be prepared that I'm a busy realtor. I know a lot about what's going on in the market, and I stay on top of things. However, you might have to ask, how do I make sure I'm getting the individualized service I need and expect? And see how they maneuver that. So usually a busy realtor is on top of the market and knows what's going on. A realtor that doesn't have as many listings out there or working with as many buyers, they might be able to give you more individualized service, which is excellent. But there's a caveat to that. There's a catch to it. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes that realtor that has fewer listings or working with fewer buyers, they're a part-time realtor. They've got another job, or this is just a hobby, and so they get around to taking care of it when they can. So you want to dive into that, do a little investigating, make sure you're getting somebody that matches for exactly what you want from a realtor. I would ask, what's your average days on the market? This is super important because it lets you know if the realtor is on top of their marketing game. And how does those average days on the market, how consistent is that with the average days on the market for the area? So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that, if I took every home that went pending this last week and I saw how many days were on the market, and I took that number and compared it to how many listings the particular realtor you're interviewing has and how long their homes took to go pending. So realtors should know that answer, and they should be able to help you out with that. This demonstrates their negotiation skills and their ability to manage seller expectations during the pricing phase. So what percentage of your listings sell at or above asking price? Super important question. And why is that important? Because we want to get you top dollar for your home. And a lot of times we're in areas where homes aren't going to go above asking price. The realtor needs to know that. Sometimes you get a realtor from out of town and they don't realize they're in a slower pocket. Or maybe they're in a busy pocket and they're blindsided by the fact that they're going to get multiple offers. So we want to make sure your realtor's on top of that and they know exactly what they need to do to maneuver the market they're in. Local market expertise. So how familiar are you with the specific amenities in this neighborhood? You want a realtor that knows the neighborhood well. I live in a golf course community. You want to make sure they know about the clubhouse, the restaurant, what kind of activities take place. Are the weekends busy? What's the traffic look like? I also live where there's a super neat park where hundreds and hundreds of kids go every weekend. And how does that affect the traffic for the neighborhood on the other side of town? So different things like that, we want to make sure your realtor knows and they can talk freely about the neighborhood. They should be able to speak fluently about local schools, the parks, the utilities. That's super important. They need to know who the utility providers are and what kind of internet is available and what availability there is, the speed levels, those types of things that are really important. What kind of community events take place, how far it is to the next grocery store. Just some questions that are going to make your life easier if you know going into this. Of course, you can do all that research on your own, but it's super important that your realtor knows so that they can advertise that in their listings and just do whatever they can to bring more traffic to your home. What trends are you seeing in our local housing market? Make sure your realtor is knowledgeable about the trends in the area. Are rates affecting sales? What are the inventory levels? What kind of buyers are we getting? What are our buyer demographics? Are we getting first-time home buyers? Are we getting move-up buyers? Are we getting mostly transfers from the Bay Area or retired couples? And how that's affecting marketing for the area. Now, let me walk you through a digital marketing plan. That's what we want to make sure we ask our realtors. Can you please walk me through your digital marketing plan? This isn't 1980, 1990. We don't put a whole lot of homes in the local newspaper. So we don't see a lot of that. So we definitely need a realtor that has a marketing plan that's geared and ready to go. So what we're looking for, a modern realtor should mention social media, Facebook, Instagram at the least. They should be participating in professional photography. If your realtor is not using professional photography, you should not be using that realtor. In this day and age, the internet is the window to our world. I still look online and I see realtors that are posting pictures that they took with their iPhone. In fact, I ran across a listing of a realtor for her own home and she took the photos with her iPhone. That just shouldn't happen. It absolutely should not happen. Part of the marketing package that they're purchasing for you should include professional photography. It really does make a difference. And then do they do video marketing? And what do? Are they doing YouTube videos? Are they doing reels? Are they putting that on social media? Are they doing standard or more personalized for each home? What does that look like? So those are definitely some questions you want to ask. Let's see. What is your approach to staging the property for presentation? So you want to ask the realtor, what do you do to help stage the home? This is something that's a touchy subject for a lot of people. It's easy to offend someone when going through their home and helping them prepare it for staging. I like to do it several different ways. Again, when you hire me as your realtor, I take the role of the professional, but you are in the driver's seat. So you're in the driver's seat and you are going to be able to let me know what you want. I'm going to tell you how it's going to affect your pocketbook, but I'm also going to let you drive what you want in your home and make those ultimate decisions. I will guide you, hold your hand throughout the way. And if you tell me, hey Tammy, I want you to just do whatever you're going to do to get me the most dollars and sell it as quickly as you can, I will take the lead and gladly do that for you. But again, I respect you and I know that you are the owner of the home. So what are we looking for? Are we looking for a concierge style service, or do we want somebody who's going to discount the rate, throw a lockbox on my home, put a sign out in front and be gone? What exactly are you looking for? And that you need to know. You should ask if they use professional stagers, if they do full staging, if they do partial staging, what they have available as far as staging. A lot of times I work in areas where it's really difficult to get a stager to come out. So we want to make sure they have those contacts available to them. And then super important, which communication tools and platforms do you use to keep clients updated? So one of the things I do is every Monday we go through a market review with my client. And a lot of times I do this by video. It seems to work best because they can watch it when they want. Others want me to give them a lengthy text and some want an email. But I think it's super important that we know, do you want a phone call? Do you want a text? Do you want an email? How do you want to go through the updates we have? When we have a showing contact, do you want me to call you every time or do you want me to send you a text? That way your realtor works with a way that works best for you. And you need to realize this is your home, you're in the driver's seat, and it's okay to ask somebody to cater to your needs. Behavioral and problem solving. So some of these are some great questions to ask a realtor. Kind of humbling questions it can be. Tell me about a time a deal almost fell through and how did you save it? That's a great question for a realtor. If they don't have a good response, they probably haven't sold enough homes. Trust me, over 22 years of selling real estate, I've run into some challenges. And there are definitely times when homes almost fell through and we've got to do what we can to save them and help our client in the best way possible. I love this one. How do you handle a client who wants to overprice their home? That is an interesting question for a seller to ask, but it's an important question because it tells you the insides about how your realtor works. Gives you a little inside view there and what you want to look for. This tests their honesty and their ability to lead with data, comparative market analysis, rather than just saying yes to get the listing. So many times throughout my career, I've watched realtors that I've walked away from listings because they were so overpriced. I just could not get the seller to come to reality. And I walked away and I see someone else go ahead and take the listing for the exact price I said that it was overpriced at. And I would find out that unfortunately that home sits on the market, it sits on the market, it sits on the market. And usually what happens is the original realtor loses the listing and the second realtor comes in and the seller's been really beat up because of the market and the market's taught them an awful lot and they're willing to listen to the realtor and the second realtor gets the home sold. So I highly, highly recommend ask that question, find out their strategy, find out what they're going to do to help you to get your home sold the first time without it being a grueling process. And then describe your process for building and maintaining a referral-based business. So that is super important. Realtors need to work with each other, and we find that successful agents often rely on a strong professional network. A lot of times I sell homes not because of what's sitting in the MLS, because I'm out and about talking to other agents and finding out what kind of buyers they have. And I have been experienced in the past. I got a phone call from an agent this morning that told me that a realtor would not take their offer and chose another offer, and the realtor flat out told them, because you are difficult to work with. It's so important to have a realtor that has a relationship with other realtors that's positive. I think a lot of times we want to see somebody that'll get out there and really fight for us and make sure that we get everything we can. And that is a great feeling to know that someone's on our side and fighting for us. But a terrible feeling is to find out that somebody won't take our offer or somebody won't show our home because we've chosen a listing agent or a buyer's agent that a realtor doesn't want to work with. Especially if you're in a small town, in a small community. I focus on some rural parts of California, and I might sell with the same agent 4 or 5 times in a year. So it's super important for me to be able to build a relationship with these agents. I want to be the one they're excited to get an offer from me for, that they know I'm going to be organized. They know I'm going to uphold the dates that need to take place during the transaction. They know I'm going to respect them as an individual. I'm going to respect their clients. I'm going to do all I can to make it a win-win for everybody, that everybody comes out of this transaction happy. Of course, my fiduciary duty is to my client, and I'm going to do all for them and put them first. However, I'm not going to put them in a situation where someone won't take their offer. Reach out to me if you've got any more great interview questions. I'd love to help you out. Just a few questions to help you when interviewing a real estate agent for the sale of your home. Have a wonderful day.